So as I was saying before we dive into the main core aspects of today's discussion, I just wanted to know whether how many of you know the meaning of the word Akshaya actually. Not to say this or ask this again as it's already there in our PPT, as you can see. So basically it means never diminishing, as an eternal and imperishable. And Tritiya is nothing, it's the third lunar day of Vaishak month. And this is one of the rare day in Hindu calendar, which is also called as the Swayam Siddha Muhurat, which is a self-illuminated auspicious movement. So every moment of this day is basically blessed. Mythology tells us that this day was the day when Lord Parshuram was born, and the Treta Yuddha began this day, and river Ganges descended to earth. Having said that all, what if our own wealth is also Akshaya? What if every money and every rupee that we earn and the investment that we made, it truly never diminishes? So that's actually not mythology when I say this, that's basically the math. And that's what we are going to talk about in this session.
That's beautiful, Harsh. And I will be very honest with you all. When Harsh first told me that we are going to conduct a session on financial literacy, my first thought was we help companies with their finances for a living, and I surely would have my own finances sorted. Then I looked at my own saving account, and well, here we are. So think this session as Harshvardhan is going to share his thoughts on financial literacy, and I will be asking questions that most of you are thinking but are hesitant to ask.
Before we go into the content, let me quickly walk everyone through what we are going to cover today. So we have 6 segments today, all mapped to this session. We start here with what Akshaya Tritiya connects. We will set the philosophy. Then we'll go into the financial literacy basics. And then we explore the single most powerful force in personal finance, that is compounding. Then we get into the actual world of wealth management, that is equity, gold, mutual fund, and all of it. We follow that with long-term prosperity planning, that is goals, life stages, and taxes. And we'll also close with the practical action plans that can actually be used when you log off today to plan your finances. So going ahead, let's start with a number that genuinely shocked me when I first read it. I was doing my research. So 76% of Indians basically lacks basic financial literacy.
What exactly do we mean when we say financial literacy? Because I think different people interpret it very differently.
Great question there, Suyashh, and a very important clarification before we proceed. So financial literacy is basically not knowing which stock to pick. It's not being able to predict the market. At its core, it's basically 4 things. Understanding how money flows and out of your life. Knowing how to make your money work for you instead of the other way around. Third is protecting yourself from the financial risks. And the 4th one, planning ahead so that the future you isn't cursing the present you. Okay. So let's talk about the foundation, and that's actually budgeting. And I know that the word budget make people feel like they are being put into rations, but budget isn't a restriction, it's a plan. It's just like that you are the CEO of your own life. The simplest, most effective framework that I have actually seen and read is the 50-30-20 rule, popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren. So how it works? Every rupee that you take home after tax, that is your in hand, it gets divided basically into 3 buckets. So the first bucket is 50% bucket. It goes to needs like rent, home loan EMI, groceries, utility, insurance premium, and other areas. This particular bucket, my friend, is non-negotiable. If you are spending more than 50% on needs, that's a signal that either your income needs to go up or some expenses needs to be restructured. For this, we are taking an example like 1 lakh salary in hand, then 50,000 is your survival budget. 30%, the next bucket goes to wants. And what are our wants? Dining out, OTT subscription, definitely a watch. Watch is my favorite, where I spend more and the most. Travel, clothes, gadgets, something like this. So there is nothing wrong to spend here, but keep it within, I would suggest keep it within 30% only. That is from the above example, 30,000. That's actually a very decent lifestyle. Last but the most important, the last bucket of 20%, and my friend, this is non-negotiable. It goes to savings and investments, which is emergency funds, SIPs, PPF, loan repayments. 20,000 a month invested consistently will change your life, and I'll prove that in the next segment. Sure. So, two more fundamentals before we get into the stuff. The first part would is the emergency fund. This is the most unspoken, yet the most important financial decision that you will ever make. Think of it as your financial airbag. Basically, you don't plan to crash, but if you do, you want that airbag there. So the rule is to basically to keep 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses in completely liquid form, in instantly accessible accounts. It should not be in FD that are in lock-ins or not in stocks. A liquid fund or a high yield saving account is a preferable area layer for me. And why does this matters? Because without an emergency fund, the moment anything happens in our life, like a job loss, a medical emergency, or anything like this, we are either forced to break our investments at the first possible time, or it may be worse, like taking a high interest debt. Emergency fund is what stands between you and your financial panics. What I'm about to share is the closest thing to one of the magic that exists in personal finance, and it's also called the eighth wonder of the world. And I call the most underappreciated superpower available to every single person in this world. And it's nothing other than the word compounding, the ability of money to earn returns, and then those returns in return earning their own returns, growing exponentially over time. So let me give you an example over here. If you can go to the next slide, Suyashh.
Yes.
Yeah. So look at this chart. We are comparing two scenarios. Both there are two people investing 5,000 rupees a month in a SIP. One gets 12% annual return, typically of a well-diversified equity mutual fund portfolio over the long run. And the other one is getting 7%, closer to what an FD offers. Same 5,000 rupees, same discipline, and the only rate difference over here is the rate of interest. So if we imagine like this, over 30 years at 7%, 61 lakhs invested become 1.8 crores. Not bad. But at 12%, the same 61 lakh becomes 1.76 crores in return. Total corpus is somewhat around 1.8 CR के आसपास. And if we recalculate it, 5,000 per month for 30 years is 18 lakhs invested. At 12%, if you accumulate, it's somewhere around roughly 1.76 crores. That's nearly 10 times of your money. And at 7%, it's just 61 lakhs. So the difference is between 7% and 12% over 30 years. And it comes to somewhat around 1.5 crores at the same discipline. The lesson is time in the market beat time spent trying to time the market. Your best investment is basically start today, not next month, not next year, just today. And when I say today, what better occasion it could be other than Akshaya Tritiya? So there's a beautiful rule, Suyashh, which is called the rule of 72. Take 72 and divide your interest rate, and you get the number of years to double your money. Okay, so for example, at an FD rate of 6%, the money doubles in 12 years. At 12% in equity, it doubles in 6 years. Okay, now here's the dark side. At 24% of credit card interest, your debt doubles in just 3 years. The same rule applies, but in a completely different consequence.
Insane.
Yeah, exactly. So now the villain of our story is basically inflation. The silent, invisible tax on your wealth that works 365 days a year without any holiday. India's average inflation has hovered over 6% annually, and at that rate, 1 lakh today will only have a purchasing power of 55,000 in next 10 years. And by that time, your child will go to college, probably 15, 18 years from now. The engineering college cost would cost somewhere around 10 lakhs. from today, which will cost you at that time 20 to 30, 25 to 30 lakhs approximately. And that's the brutal math I'm talking about. Uh, an FD rate which gives you 7%, your effective rate of return will be somewhere around 4.9%, and inflation is 6%. And your real return is actually negative. You're not earning, you're losing wealth, even if your bank statement shows that it's growing. Your money is melting and you can't see the puddle over there.
Harsh, that is genuinely terrifying. So, what is
Yeah.
the solution? Should everyone stop doing FDs altogether?
Not entirely, Suyash. FDs have their place of capital protection and emergency fund, but for wealth building, you need returns that beat the inflation after tax, uh, which typically means equity for long-term goals. That is what is there. The benchmark is basically simple. If your real return, that is the return minus inflations, it's not positive, then you're not building wealth. You are just keeping up with the inflation at the best, falling behind maybe at the worst part. Uh, this is why we start the SIP in equity mutual fund, which is not a luxury for the rich. It's just a necessity for everyone who doesn't want to be poorer in the real term of 20 years from now. So what I'll do is, so here's the world of wealth management. Could you go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, having said that above, there's a world of wealth management laid out simply, and there are asset classes. An asset class is just a category of investment that behaves similarly and serve the purpose in your portfolio. And broadly speaking, there are five different types of asset classes, which is equity, fixed income, gold, real estate, and liquid asset. And I know the word which have the most importance over here in this call today is basically gold. Gold on Akshaya Tritiya. How could we not talk about it? 8 to 10% of long-term returns. It acts as a hedge against inflation and currency weakness, and moves opposite to equities in crisis, as we have seen in the current situation that's going on right now. A portfolio without gold is like, what should I say, a cricket team without a wicket keeper. Everything's fine until it isn't. So, moving ahead, would you go to the next slide? Covered that what and why of financial instruments. Now, let me talk about the why behind your specific wealth building journey. That is your goals. So, a goal based financial planning is the idea that every investment should be attached to a purpose. Not just I'm saving money, but hypothetically, I might be actually, let's say, for example, saving for my daughter's engineering degree in the future, which might cost me approximately 25 lakhs at today's cost, and inflation adjusted, it would be 55 lakhs by then, requiring me to invest somewhat around 10 to 12,000 per month starting from today. That specifically changes everything. So goals are basically it falls into three time zones. For example, the short-term goals, which is 0 to 3 years, it's like building your emergency funds, savings for down payments, vacations, and everything. And these goes in safes. These are the liquid instrument. Then there is mid-term goal, that is for 3 to 7 years, like a home purchase, child school fund, a business venture, etc., etc. A hybrid balanced mutual fund work here as well. And the last one is the long term goal, a 7 years and beyond, like retirement, for example, or a children's higher education, generation, wealth, purity, equity, or pure equity. So nothing else will get you there. Okay. So make your goal smart. And when I say smart, it's basically, it stands out for a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. SMART. Okay. No, so I want to retire comfortably, but I want to retire at 55 with a corpus of 3 crores. that generates, let's say, 1.2, 1.3 lakhs per month passively. Now that's a goal you can reverse engineer into a monthly SIP amount. Okay?
Harsh, let me interpret for once. The
Yeah.
retirement planning piece actually feels like haunting to a lot of people in their 20s and early 30s. I feel so far away. It feels so far away. How do you make that feel real and urgent?
Okay. Okay. So the reframe I always use is retirement isn't an age, it's a number. So the day your passive income from investment, rental income, dividends equals or exceed your monthly expenses, you are financially free. So you don't have to retire at 60. Actually, you could be free at 45 or 50 also, depending on when you start and how disciplined you are. So here's the motivation for a 25-year-old on the call. If you invest 15,000 per month starting today at a 12% return, in 30 years you will have 5.25 crores. And that's not guarantee, that's just a math. A math correlated with the rate of interest and the time period. And 15,000 is a less than long haul business class flights. It's about 5 dinners out there in Mumbai. Okay? So that's a real choice over there.
Perfect. And Harsh, moving on to the next question.
Okay.
I have the perennial question. Old regime versus new regime. Every year people are confused what to opt.
My God. So that's a question for me also. So, Suyash, it's a simple rule. If your total deduction under the old regime exceeds 3.75 lakhs, including the standard deductions of, let's say, ATC, HRA, health insurance, then old regime saves you more money. But if you are just starting out and have no home loans, no big investments yet, then the new regime lower slabs might be better, I believe. But calculate both before you file. Switching back forth is also possible for salaried employed, and just don't let your CA decides for you. Understand it yourself, or maybe you can get in touch with our own seniors in the organization who are tax experts over here.
Okay, Harsh, now we have only few minutes left and I want to make sure everyone leaves with something concrete. What are the most common mistakes you see even smart, well-earning professionals make?
Okay, so the hall of shame, and I mean that with complete affection, because we have all been guilty of at least one of these which were discussed above. So number one is no emergency funds. People invest in stock but have no buffer. One medical emergency or one job loss, and then we are forced to redeem investments at a loss, or maybe to take very expensive high interest rate personal loans. Number two is that I'll start investing next year syndrome. Okay, so this is something I'm not taking the chance or the step to start investing today. I just keep on saying kal karte hain na, or maybe next month I'll start. So it is harmless, but it comes at a very expensive cost, and we have done the math. 5 years of delay can cost you 50 lakhs or more. There is no perfect time. The best time was actually 5 years ago. And the second best time is today. And when I say today, today means the occasion of Akshaya Tritiya. And number three is treating FDs as the only safe investment. We have shown you that FD often loses real purchasing power after tax and inflation. Safety is important. Being underinsured, term life insurance, 10 to 12 times of your annual income. It should be your first purchase out of your first paycheck. A health floater, a family health floater plan of at least not less than 5 to 10 lakhs is actually non-negotiable, especially post-COVID. Believe me, insurance is not an investment. So stop mixing insurance and investment. They both should be separate and should be done separately. So the following tips. Let's say, for example, my neighbor made 200% on a penny stock, and my colleague says that crypto will give you 10x, my brother. Start investing in a penny stock or a crypto. And every generation has its own version of this story. And everyone, or in the way or some other way, ends in the same way. So, boring index funds, long horizons, or consistent SIPs, we may all yawn at it, but this is the strategy that actually wins. Nice. And last but not the least, please draft a will if you don't have. You don't need a lawyer. There are many options today. There is a legal desk, Quickco, several online services that makes you do it easily.
Perfect, Harsh. Last one, the eight golden rules. Can you just quickly take us through them? The ones people should tattoo somewhere visible.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you should the financial. I would say that's the financial tattoo list. Uh, so the first one is start early, stay invested. Okay. Uh, Next is protect before you grow, like the emergency funds and insurance first. The third one is diversify. Diversify your portfolio with equities, debt, gold, and other options. Fourth one is beat inflation. Don't just save money, you have to beat inflation also. You have to think wise and plan accordingly. Next one is plan with goals, not luck. The smart goals that we talk about over there. Sixth area is tax smart. We know our deductions and we should claim the benefit. Even if I saw the moment we are speaking today, only we got a mail from Santosh about our declarations for the investments. So be active on that part also. The seventh one is automate and forget. Set up your SIPs and let the compound interest do its job. Lastly, and this is my favorite one, on the Akshaya Tritiya mindset, build the wealth that is eternal, growing, never diminishing, exactly like the day promises.
Beautiful, Harsh. So to summarize the whole session in one line, if someone remembers only one thing from today, what should it be?
Start. Just start. Open that account, make that SIP, build the emergency fund. Perfect is the enemy of good in finance. A 500 SIP started today is infinitely more powerful than a 5000 SIP when things settle down. And believe me, things never settle down. Life always happens. The only time you control is now. And now, today, as we speak, or maybe for this example or this occasion, is basically Akshaya Tritiya. What other day to begin something like this, which we are discussing today, than Akshaya Tritiya, which will never diminish. Thank you.
I think this is the most perfect note to close on. On behalf of Harshvardhan and myself, thank you all so much for giving us this hour. We hope it was valuable for everyone. Shubh Akshaya Tritiya.